This is my official ranking for all the Kristin Hannah books that I have read. I loved all of these books, but if I had to rank them, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that Firefly Lane would come in last. I enjoyed this book, but in comparison to her other works, this one just fell a little flat. It is very long, it's a little boring at times, and the storyline just wasn't as gripping or interesting to me as many of her other books. Next up, we have her most recent release actually, which is The Woman. I read this when it first came out and it was incredible, just like I was expecting. It was clearly very well researched, very well written, and hard-hitting and sad and tragic like all the rest of her books, but it just wasn't my favorite. Next up, we have Night Road. This is actually a book that my sister picked out for me. Every year we choose a book for the other one to read, and she chose this for me. And while this may not have been the lighthearted beach read that I was expecting for my summer vacation, I still really did end up enjoying this book. However, I will say that this book is very heavy. It deals with grief, and it is very tragic and sad, and it wasn't necessarily the book that I would recommend to read on vacation, but if you're looking for something to emotionally destroy you, then you should pick this one up. Next up, we have The Four Winds. This book takes place during the Dust Bowl, which was so interesting and a period of time that I really didn't know much about before reading this. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about Kristin Hannah, is that every time I read one of her books, I feel like I'm learning something new, and it's told in such a beautiful way that I just can't put the book down. Her descriptions are just so vivid and delicious to read. So I would highly recommend this one. In second place, we have The Great Alone. This is a haunting and harrowing story about a mother and a daughter who end up moving to Alaska with their abusive husband/father. It just takes you on their journey as they become more and more isolated from reality, and this man grows more and more unhinged, and definitely kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Such a beautiful story, and I loved the ending. And lastly, in the number one spot, you probably can guess that I'm going to say The Nightingale. I read this back in 2019 when I was in college, and before reading this book, I had never read historical fiction. I hadn't really read much, if any, adult at all. This book really made me fall back in love again with reading after taking a bit of a hiatus throughout some of my high school and college years. And ever since I read this, I have read almost solely adult, and I have picked up so many more historical fictions that I absolutely love. I actually find it hard to find a historical fiction that I don't like. Even if you think you don't really like historical fiction, or you're not sure if you would like something like this, I would still encourage you to give this a try. This book is a beautiful story about two sisters that takes place during World War II, and you're following each of them as they participate actively against the Nazi occupation. This book made me cry, and not many books can do that. So if you want something absolutely devastating, go ahead and check this one out. And that is my ranking for all the Kristin Hannah books that I have read. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and which Kristin Hannah book I should read next.